Now, for the best part of a year, a row's been rumbling away at Southampton City Council. To save money and jobs, the council wanted to reduce pay and change terms and conditions. Now, about 99% of workers have signed new contracts in July, but this dispute is far from over. Unison and Unite members took part in rolling strike action this summer and are still working to rule. Well, joining me to discuss where we go from here is Councillor Jeremy Moulton and Andy Straker from Unison. Well, first of all, Andy, the contracts have been signed, so do you really think you can force a U-turn?
Yes, we do. We've been in negotiations now for some time, which led to actually a new proposal being put to our members in August. That proposal was rejected because it wasn't good enough, and we've reopened negotiations. The strike action has proved that our members won't accept a pay cut, so we will continue with the strikes, or we will continue with the negotiations, depending on which can bring us a resolution to the dispute.
But you're also thinking of legal action now?
We are taking two sets of legal action. One that's already in the tribunal for lack of consultation, and also we've now got 500 unfair dismissal claims to submit, and Unite have 300 claims to submit, which will be happening in the next few days.
Well, Jeremy, this was meant to save you money, but hearing about possible legal action, you've had to make some concessions as well. It doesn't seem to be working.
It is about saving money, but as you say, it's about protecting jobs, and most importantly, it's about protecting services. So we do think it's the right thing to do. There is an alternative, and the Labour group on the council have said that they would get rid of 1,500 jobs at the council. That's precisely the sort of thing that we want to avoid. But since we were last on the programme, Andy and myself, we have made huge progress, and I think we are much closer together now. And I think that that proposal that Andy talked about, that's something that we want to see go to all union members for a ballot.
You say you've made progress, but there are threats of further strike action, so it doesn't sound like it's going that well.
Well, I think we have made considerable progress. I think there's an understanding now from the union side, certainly, that there isn't the money that perhaps they thought there was. And certainly from the council side, we have shown that we're willing to move our position. So that proposal Andy talked about is worth £1 million to council employees. We think that's a good deal. We're working now on how we can strengthen that and make that clearer. And hopefully that can go to all council staff and reach an agreement.
So, Andy, are you making progress? Because it doesn't seem to match up that staff are talking about more strikes, even though they're outside of their protected time period for strikes, yet we're hearing of progress. I mean, which is it?
Well, discussions have improved, and we've been continuing with them. The problem was, as Jeremy says, it put an extra £1 million back into our members' pockets. The trouble is, this council took £6 million out of their wages. So we're a long way off of where our members want to be. But we will continue the discussions, and ultimately our members will make the decision on whether the offer is good enough or not. At the moment, it isn't good enough, and we won't be putting the last offer back to our members. We've informed Councillor Moulton and his colleagues of that. For us to have a ballot of our members, the offer needs to improve. So until it improves, then we will be preparing for future industrial action.
Jeremy, people who are looking outside of their windows, seeing their bins still not being collected as they'd expect, they just want to know when you're going to resolve this. So how long is it going to take?
They do, and that's why we're continuing these discussions, and we'll meet as soon as we can again with Andy and other unions to try and get that deal that we discussed back in August fleshed out, and hopefully something that they feel they can take to all their members. I think the public are, the strikes aren't going on at the moment. They are still suffering because there is this work to rule, and I think particularly with the bin collection staff, with people sick and working to rule, that is meaning that people aren't getting their bins collected when they should be, and that's causing a lot of problems for people, even though we're putting in extra resources to try and improve the situation.
But what are you doing to try and improve morale? Because you've got a lot of staff who are unhappy with how you're treating them. They're doing the work to rule. People aren't getting the service that they expect. So how are you going to fix that?
Well, we are trying to make it very clear to them that this is about protecting jobs. And social workers who've been on strike, we've said to them all their jobs are safe. We're recruiting more people. That's a really important service. One thing I've done is I've been round the building that they work in that they've got complaints about, and we've drawn up a list of things that we can try and improve to make working conditions better there. So we're looking at all possible options, but I think at the root of this is our message that we want to keep more people in work delivering those services that the taxpayers pay for.
And Andy, do you think your members have the stamina to see this through? Because we may have national days of action in future, so will they keep going with this strike and this action?
Well, I think they will. They are really angry over the money that's been taken out of their wages. So, they are prepared to do that. The November strikes are over the national government going to take money out of their wages. So our members are under attack by not only the local council but now by the national government, and they're not going to carry on working for less money when people keep dipping their hand into their wage packets. So they are up for the fight, and we're sure that the national ballot will get an overwhelming yes vote to the proposals on pensions, and that's what we're working towards.
Well, thank you both for coming in today. We've run out of time for this one, but of course we will update people on what happens in